So today I want to share a few tips on drawing faces or portraits. As I am a watercolor painter, my drawing practice gets often neglected and pushed aside since painting takes quite a lot of time. But then you can really see it in your works that faces look flat and weirdly shaped sometimes. And so I decided to take action and take my drawing practice more seriously. So this very first head you're going to draw is probably gonna take the longest and will also look a bit messy, but that's just because we still need to figure things out here. Don't worry, that initial insecurity disappears as you draw more faces. What helps me the most is to lay down very basic silhouette and focus on shadowy parts that I see on my reference, and this is important, not the lines, but areas of light and shadow. I use a harder pencil for this as it's not too dark and then blur the shadowy areas with blender stick. Once I have that laid down, I grab a softer, darker pencil and try to emphasize the most important features and place in the darkest the darks. Often I notice that the features are slightly off and grab a kneaded eraser to get rid of most of the graphite, and then I just draw over it more accurately. Often I just hope for a better result, but sometimes it really works out and I'm able to figure out what went wrong. This is my biggest tip for you when you're already familiar with drawing heads a little but can't quite get the likeness of a person right. You really need to analyze the result and spend at least 5 to 10 minutes trying to adjust the drawing. Often it's just like very small details that make a huge difference in overall face expression. And when you focus on trying to identify those small features that can easily be overlooked, you will really progress in your drawing. Alright, the first one is behind me and the second one was so much easier and quicker as my hand is already a little warmed up, and that's my next tip. You have to draw at least a couple of them in one drawing session, one won't do. I often fit 4 or 5 faces on one page of my sketchbook and draw them for about 10 to 15 minutes each, but I don't time them because some heads will take you longer to draw than others because they are more complicated and harder to understand. However, timing yourself might be a good idea when you're getting caught up in hatching or too much shading or simply doing unnecessary stylizations that waste your time. I would not try to make the drawings look as beautiful as they can be. Better to draw with purpose and just try to capture the crucial parts of every face with as little effort as possible. I think a good tip is to find materials that work for you, but try to keep them to a minimum. For me, what works so well right now are these Mars Lumograph black pencils. While I have 6 of them as quite a range of tones, I mostly just use the HB and then the 6B or 7B, then one precision eraser and one kneaded eraser. And I keep them all nearby in a tiny case and my sketchbook near the table at all times, and when I leave the studio and come home, I try to place the sketchbook by the sofa so that I can reach for it with no effort when we're watching TV or just chilling. And that actually helps so much to remove traction between the daily life and the drawing habit that we are trying to form. When you keep your drawing setup very simple and have it with you at all times, you really are set up for success when it comes to drawing practice. Also, daily practice is very hard for most people. When you get used to drawing daily for even 10 to 15 minutes, it's actually very easy to reach for that sketchbook the next day. But when you skip a day, it is twice as hard to do it the next day, and then 3 times as hard to do it 2 days after, and so on. You get my point. And once you have a good momentum going on, just keep at it and don't stop, not even when you're like brain dead next to a TV at midnight. If nothing else, then at least put your pencil to that paper and see what happens in the next 5 minutes. Simplification is your best friend. When you start sketching, try getting to the point as quickly as possible and learn to recognize the moment when you were latching onto a portrait and you can't let go, trying to inscribe all the nuances and every freckle that the person consists of while forgetting about the big idea and mostly time. Because it can be very frustrating to draw for an hour and not making any progress on a single face. Just move on and come back to it later if it bugs you and can't get get this one right, you'll see it with fresh eyes in the morning, but now pick a different angle and draw that. I would say even though timing yourself can be stressful, try to do 3 to 4 faces in one sitting to make progress, but only draw the most important features. My drawings are always so messy at the start, but then I find my footing until eventually make something out of every sketch. And my sketchbook is my biggest insecurity, but I don't have to show it to anyone and you don't have to either. It's supposed to be a secure and safe place for experimentation and mostly for building up the knowledge of the subject. Actually, I love sketches of other people that look kind of imperfect as they inject part of their own personality into them. And so many videos that I watched here on YouTube, people drawing faces for different challenges, and out of all of them I loved the beginner face sketches the most. Next time I will repaint my old art and I will show you some old and weird looking faces that I made in the past, because I want to face those fears, and by trying and practicing we're always taking chance. So let's encourage one another to practice more, and as we do so, find our voice. I want to know how you practice and how you're feeling about it. Let us know in the comments, and if you want to sketch a portrait with me in real time, here is the video that I made and we'll see you there. Bye!